execution of search warrants at 5 properties in the Greater Toronto area. The victims, a mix of men and women in their 20s to 40s, were said to have been found and are alleged to have been abused, mistreated, and exploited labor at farms, factories, and warehouses. Police are not sharing the exact locations or company names because of an ongoing investigation by the Ministry of Labour. Police in Ontario have also charged 8 people linked to an alleged art fraud ring. The group is suspected of making and selling pieces under the name of Norval Morrisseau, a famous Indigenous artist. 1,000 paintings and prints believed to be fake. As Eric Sorensen reports, some of the works are sold for big money to unsuspecting buyers.
Norval Morrisseau's art is world-renowned, the first Indigenous artist in this country whose distinctive style was exhibited in contemporary Canadian galleries and remains beloved 15 years after his death.
He's like, I didn't paint that. I didn't paint that.
But as a 2019 documentary explored, his art also became the target of fraud, fake work.
This painting is a lie. Someone put Norval's name on it.
Now, after a 2.5-year investigation, Ontario Provincial Police and Thunder Bay Police say they've cracked a major forgery ring, seizing more than 1,000 paintings and prints. 8 Ontario residents, 5 are from Thunder Bay, including a nephew of Morrisseau, have been charged.
These contributions and his global success may have made him an easy target for. Behind me today represents examples of the types of work made under and profited from Norval Morrisseau's name.
Police say one of those arrested, David Voss, began making forgeries around 1996.
He forged some paintings himself before growing his organization into a full assembly line of painters.
Some of the alleged forgeries sold for tens of thousands of dollars. They not only made fake art, but fake certificates attesting to authenticity. Decades to the group of 7.
This is not a new phenomenon, so it's a perception of value and an appetite in the marketplace.
It was a terrible, multifaceted crime that has been going on for decades, and it's great that the police have hopefully cut off some of its many heads.
The Morrisseau Project researches and promotes the importance of Morrisseau's work. Carmen to hear of the police arrests, telling Global News all efforts to ensure the legacy welcomed, and I look forward to outcomes of this investigation.
I realize what my purpose is to be.
Norval Morrisseau's stature has only grown with time. The hope is that Morrisseau's original art, and not the criminal copies, will be the legacy that endures. Eric Sorensen, Global News, Toronto.
Questions over alleged Chinese interference in Canada's electoral process continued for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Friday, one day after opposition call for an independent public inquiry into the matter. And with the House of Commons set to return next week, the push for the Liberals to take further action is only heating up. David Aiken has more.
I absolutely hear that Canadians want to be reassured that independent experts are looking at this issue.
Justin Trudeau has not ruled out an inquiry, but he argued Friday the government is tackling the issue by other means.
All of those goals are related to processes that are ongoing as we speak.
He pointed to the work of 2 all-party parliamentary committees, to work that was done by independent civil servants. But none of those are set up to investigate allegations of interference with any party's nomination processes that are shielded by parties themselves from public scrutiny. And that's where there could be a weakness in Canada. For example, as Global News, when Liberal MP Han Dong sought the nomination in 2019 in the Toronto area riding of Don Valley North, the Chinese consulate in Toronto is alleged to have sent 2 busloads of Chinese Canadian seniors to vote for him. That allegation comes from a combination of intelligence sources and CSIS documents. Dong and the Liberal Party of Canada deny the allegations and say the nomination rules were followed. Second time this week, Trudeau refused to speak to the allegations about Dong, but acknowledged Canadians of some ethnic groups are more likely interference than others.
We know that Chinese Canadian parliamentarians and Chinese Canadians in general are targets, greater targets for interference by China than others.
Trudeau said Iran and Russia, like China, also targets Canadians who come from those countries. A reason the opposition says to have a fully transparent public inquiry.
Ukraine's First Lady Zelenska and European parliamentary Metsola spoke on a panel Saturday about sexual violence being committed by Russian troops in Ukraine.
The aggressors that have started a war on our continent will not go unpunished. I'm the mother of 4 sons. I would like to be able to tell them when Ukraine wins the war that everybody will be held accountable for have committed and the atrocities that we have seen committed against the brave Ukrainians.
Zelenska said that Ukraine's prosecutor office was investigating 171 cases of sexual violence committed by Russian troops in Ukraine. She added that those were only the official numbers, speculating that we do many suffer in silence, especially in the occupied territories. Ukraine is hosting the United for Justice on War Crimes, seeking to bring together international partners to establish a war crimes tribunal for Russia and its leadership. International outrage is growing over the fate of a human rights advocate in Belarus who won a Nobel Peace Prize last year while behind bars. Ales Bialiatski has been a pro-democracy activist for decades. In 2021, he following protests disputing authority Alexander Lukashenko's election win. Now he's been sentenced to 10 years in prison. But as Mike Armstrong explains, Bialiatski has only become a bigger symbol and bigger problem for the government of Belarus.
It is a sentence seen by many as retribution. Ales Bialiatski's years of political activism earning him a political punishment. Sentenced Friday to 10 years in a maximum security penal colony. The offense, smuggling cash into the country to against the government. 3 other men, also human rights campaigners, were hit with sentences of 7, 8, and 9 years. UN officials are calling for the men to be released, as well as 1,400 other political prisoners in the country.
We're gravely concerned about the lack of fair trial proceedings and access to an independent judiciary in Belarus.
Fought for human rights in Belarus since the 1980s. He founded a human rights group, Vyasna, in 1996 and has been a constant problem for the country's president, autocrat Alexander. Bialiatski was convicted of similar financial crimes in 2011 and spent 3 years in prison. The latest arrest was in 2021 after mass protests against Lukashenko's re-election. Thousands took to the streets while the Belarusian opposition and Western countries called the results a
This year's Peace Prize.
Bialiatski was named as one of the co-winners of the Nobel Peace Prize while behind bars. He was praised for never giving up his fight despite the personal hardship it meant. Now, all 3 of the co-winners were related to the ongoing war in Ukraine. One was a Russian human rights group, the other a Ukrainian group documenting war crimes. Bialiatski's selection was called by some a slap in the face for Putin because he's been a major critic of the Russian leader's closest ally. The Belarusian opposition leader called Friday's proceedings a shameful mockery and the men heroes.
They represent the protection of the individual's rights against the repression of the state.
Now, Canada joined a growing chorus condemning the sentences. The foreign minister says Canada stands with the people of Belarus and the men should be released. Mike Armstrong, Global News.
In the U.S., a disgraced lawyer will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Wife and youngest son. Alex Murdaugh was found guilty on all counts Thursday night. The verdict ends one of the most watched and talked about criminal cases in recent American history. Jackson Prosco reports on the evidence that appeared to seal his fate.
For the murder of Paul
Murdaugh, whom you probably love so much. I say for murdering him for the rest of your natural life.
Alex flinched as he was given 2 consecutive life sentences for murdering his son Paul and his wife Maggie. Right up until the very end, he maintained he did not kill them.
I'm innocent. I would never, under any circumstances, hurt my wife Maggie, and I would never, under any circumstances, hurt my son Paul.
In sentencing, Judge Clifton Newman was unequivocal that he, like the jury, did after a trial in which he admitted to lying repeatedly.
And then when I lied, I continued to lie.
And the question is, when will it end? When will it end?
Guilty verdict.
Thursday, it took a jury less than 3 hours to find him guilty on all counts.
Justice was done today.
Prosecutors say the prominent South embezzled millions of dollars and may have carried out the murders to gain sympathy and delay the investigation. It was Murdaugh's own testimony, admitting he had lied about being at the scene of the murders that likely sealed his fate. Prosecutors played this video recorded by his son just before the murders, where Murdaugh's voice can be heard.
Everything about me not going to the kennel was a lie.
And you're able to just do that so easily and so convincingly and so naturally, don't you?
I mean, that's not for me.
The trial drew
for over a century, the Murdaughs were law and order here.
It became the subject of a Netflix docuseries, luring in the public with a sordid tale of murder involving a prominent family and a legal dynasty. For weeks, the trial unfolded in the same courtroom Murdaugh's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all tried cases as prosecutors. His lawyers say they'll appeal immediately. Even if successful, that won't save Murdaugh from a long legal reckoning. Nearly 100 charges relating to his alleged financial crimes. Global News.
U.S. President Joe Biden had a small skin lesion with cancerous tissue removed from his chest during his physical exam in February, according to the White House physician. Testing confirmed the lesion was the most common form of skin cancer, and doctors say treatment is required. Wendy Gillette has the details.
President Biden left for Delaware shortly before the White House released a memo from his doctor that says a cancerous lesion was removed from the president's chest. Basal cell carcinoma, a common form of skin cancer, which does not spread like other more serious types of the disease.
Basal cell carcinomas don't invade, but they classically grow and they can cause local problems, hence
CBS News medical contributor Dr. David Agus says there will likely be more lesions during President Biden's life. But his doctor says this one was successfully removed and the does not need any further treatment.
It healed nicely, so they normally will cut it out and make sure they have clean margins under the microscope. And then he just needs to be followed up at a regular occasion.
First Lady Jill Biden had 2 basal cell lesions removed in January.
I am so lucky that they caught it. They removed it, and I'm healthy.
Cancer is from sun exposure.
The risk factor for skin cancer is just being very pale, and he is very pale. He did admittedly have a lot of time in the sun when he was younger, and those are the right there.
Around 3.5 million Americans are diagnosed with skin cancer every year. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
After the break, Christy Gordon is here with your full cross-Canada forecast.
afternoon. I hope you're doing well. We had quite a storm across southern Ontario through the overnight periods. More details on what to expect. Start off with western sections. We've had a big upper level low across the southwestern corner of the province, and that's going to continue to impact the south coast throughout the day with scattered showers. It is also going to bring in a few flurries. And you can see the impact just on the eastern slope of the Rocky Mountains in through Alberta. Meanwhile, the rest of the prairie's not expecting too much throughout the day today. Meanwhile, this is the low pressure center across southern Ontario, Quebec as well. As we track throughout the day, it will shift towards the east, just touching into the Nova Scotia region, but it's going to slump down and away. Those of you in southern Quebec, though, will continue to feel the impact of it throughout the day today, whereas areas like Toronto will see things today. So these are the areas that are still under warnings. There's a winter storm warning for parts of Toronto. The potential for, if you haven't seen it already, 30 centimeters of snow before it shifts out of the region throughout the afternoon hours. Here's a look at the forecast. So plenty of sunshine through the Prairie Province as snow expected west of Edmonton as well. Showers for Vancouver. Meanwhile, in through Toronto, sunshine by the afternoon, whereas Ottawa, Montreal will likely continue to see snowfall throughout the day. Halifax will see increasing cloud, but the majority of the snowfall is south of that region. Sunny day expected with a high of -6. That's a look at your national forecast. I hope you have a fantastic Saturday.
A winter storm came as advertised, blanketing parts of southern Ontario. It's causing travel issues on the roads and in the air. Joe Scarpelli, disruptions.
A major winter storm isn't letting people escape so easily. Toronto Pearson is warning travelers to check their flight Saturday because of the storm's lingering effects. This is page as of Saturday morning. Yellow means delayed, red means cancelled. Both domestic and international flights are impacted, and a similar situation on the arrival side too. WestJet is rescheduling flights after cancelling all of them to and from Toronto Friday night, saying it is being proactive ahead of the storm. And while there may have been less planes in the sky, some got to see what's called snow.
So, thunder snow. That's thunder snow. So that just is that's a sign of how significant this type of storm is.
The light show was captured across the city and shared widely on social media, similar to what you'd expect to see during a storm, except with snow falling. Experts say this usually happens when drastically different temperatures meet. A one that makes for memorable storms. Joe Scarpelli, Global News.
We're learning more about the 3 people killed in an avalanche in Panorama, British Columbia earlier this week, and the heartbreaking reality for one family. 2 57-year-old men and a 34-year-old man, all from Germany, were killed in the slide. And as Jamie Dahl, the trip was reportedly supposed to be a celebration.
Choppers sit idle at RK Heli-Ski. The weight of this anytime soon, and it's being felt right across the Atlantic, hitting so many hearts here in a small village called Eging MC in Bavaria, Germany.
That's a big impact. I mean, the village has around about 4,000 inhabitants, so everybody knows everybody.
4 men from that region were caught in the avalanche outside of Panorama, but only a 25-year-old will be returning home.
He lost his law and the friend of the group.
The German newspaper reporting the heli trip to Canada was a gift to the 25-year-old getting his degree. It's an appealing adventure for many international tourists. This man and his friends were booked into Heli-Ski the day after the slide.
I just can't put it in words. I'm a little bit lucky, but I'm very, very sad about the people.
It was a great wish of us to do this in this life, to go for heli-skiing, but on the other hand, it's
The warnings from forecasters have been abundant with difficult snowpack this year. Assessing the conditions is a daily ritual for guides and heli-skiing companies, but it's not fail-proof.
You can be making good decisions and have great outcomes. You can be making terrible decisions and get good outcomes, and you can be making good decisions and have bad outcomes. And those things are all possible to have in the mountains.
12 ski patrollers from Panorama Ski Resort will assist in the rescue on Wednesday. The resort releasing a statement showing RK Heli-Ski and also offering its condolences, as so many have done, to those impacted both here and abroad, now left to navigate their grief. Jamie Daw, Global News, Panorama.
Scientists call them Canada's Amazon rainforest. Peatlands are ancient ecosystems that cool the planet by absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and trap it deep underground. Peatlands on Earth are found here in Canada. 150 billion tons of carbon underground. Tonight on the New Reality, Krista Hesse got rare access to this stunning and remote region of our country and the scientists who are helping us understand the power of the peatlands.
This ancient ecosystem absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and traps it deep in the soil below. World's second largest land, storing an estimated 35 billion tons of carbon. But it's at risk of losing that status and becoming a massive new source of greenhouse gases. We traveled to Ontario's far north to see the peatlands firsthand, alongside researchers from McMaster University and Fund Canada. It's an isolated part of the country, accessible in the summertime only by plane.
It's a tapestry of peatlands woven together by streams, channels that all flow into some of the last undammed rivers in North America. It is a really beautiful place.
The vast wetlands stretch from Manitoba across northern Ontario and into Quebec to the small Cree community of Peawanuck. Michelle Calamidine is part of a research collective that's mapping the carbon density across the Hudson Bay lowlands.
There's still a lot of gaps in our knowledge of the peatlands, especially when it comes to carbon. And so we're here to try and fill some of that data gap.
And after being for years, this area is poised to become the most region of Canada. Find out why in Krista's full report tonight on the New Reality at 7 p.m. Eastern on Global. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more news after this short break.
Uncovering untold stories.
We're right beside you. Not going anywhere, okay?
For a deeper understanding of how the world is changing and an insight of tomorrow. Watch The New Reality, Saturday at 7 on Global.
Be football season, but the excitement has arrived for one Canadian city. Global News has confirmed the 2025 Grey Cup game will be played in Winnipeg. It will be the first time the city has hosted the game since 2015. Time the CFL Championship will be played in Winnipeg. The hosting the Grey Cup game and related festivities is estimated to result in roughly a $90 million boost to the city's economy. Hamilton is set to host the Grey Cup this year, where the Toronto Argonauts will look to defend their title after defeating Winnipeg in last year's big game. You've likely heard of coding for programs and apps, but how about coding for music? That's what two Saskatoon high schools. As Kabi Mulitharan tells us, it was an opportunity to prepare for where the country's heading while learning about Canada's past.
It wasn't just binaries and algorithms at this coding event. Sound and rhythm were just as important. Students from Bethlehem Catholic High School and St. Joseph High School got to remix Indigenous music through coding.
It's really interesting how they put coding together since I'm a band student. Music has been my passion.
You know, you're going to hear this bass line forever.
It's part of Your Voice is Power, a program that teaches computer science while learning about Indigenous history in Canada. They want to encourage more students from diverse and underrepresented backgrounds to explore the tech world. This educator is on board.
Definitely with the direction that our industry is going, it's important that the students get more involved with how to code programs and use all those different skills in the real world.
A Conference Board of Canada report, fewer than 2% of people working in STEM are Indigenous, creating a need for a computer science program with Indigenous education.
Put your hand up if you know what residential school is.
Friday's lesson plan included Saskatoon-born Indigenous hip-hop artist Dakota Bear, speaking to the crowd to pursue his dreams while staying true to his culture. That message hitting home with Alex Trong.
We're all beings, like, it doesn't even matter where you're from, whether you're Indigenous, Asian, anything. We all need to support each other.
While some students aren't sure if this is their destined career choice.
Maybe, you know. It's all like kind of complicated, you know. I'm still young, trying to figure things out.
It's an experience that this teacher believes these students will look back on.
Anytime that they get a day like this where they get to go away for an experience, it always imprints on them. It gives them memories that they...
You're watching Global BC. This is Global News at Noon.
Good afternoon. Here are some of the stories we're following for you this hour. A serious assault is being investigated by two police forces. The home officers are focusing on Plus.
The BC RCMP is excited to announce that if you live in BC, you are able to police in BC.
Building up the force, the RCMP recruitment drive. Thanks so much for joining us. We do have breaking news. A fatal stabbing is being investigated in Vancouver. The homicide taking place in the city's Killarney neighborhood last night. Officers responded to a home near Boundary Road and East 45th Avenue around 10 p.m. after reports a man had been stabbed. Lauren, 22, was taken died of his injuries. No arrests have been made and the investigation remains ongoing. Anyone with information is asked to call VPD. And a Burnaby home is behind police tape with two police forces investigating. Details are slim, but we do know that both Burnaby RCMP converged at this home. Stated this from a serious assault. It's not believed to be a stranger assault. Officers can be seen coming in and out of the residence. The investigation there continues. If you had plans to drive between Vancouver and the interior today, consider another option. The Coquihalla Highway remains closed and likely won't reopen until at least sometime this afternoon. The highway is closed between Hope and Merritt due to extreme avalanche conditions. It's the result of more than 70 centimeters of snow falling on the route over a 24-hour period. Drive BC avalanche control work will resume this morning, and crews anticipate the road will reopen early this afternoon. Drivers making a lengthy detour via highways. 1 or 3 are being told to expect significant delays. If you're heading to Toronto's Pearson Airport, for potential delays due to a winter storm. On Friday, WestJet announcing they proactively canceled all out of the airport from 8 p.m. onward. The company added they will reevaluate Saturday's schedule pending conditions. Air Canada and Pearson officials are asking travelers to pack their patience today as flight delays are expected. The airport says it's equipped to handle the latest winter blast. Cleanup will require extra time due to the scale of the storm. The WestJet plane that experienced engine failure and was forced to make an emergency landing in Kelowna earlier this week remains at the a mechanical inspection. While nobody was hurt, passengers understandably were shaken up at what unfolded. Claudia Van Emmerich reports.
Kamloops resident Javon Wallen joins other passengers on West 3252 in applauding the pilots after safely landing the aircraft at Kelowna International Airport Thursday afternoon. The arrival met with a huge emergency response. Plane's 2 engines failed.
And we heard a couple of big bangs. I looked at the engine, and then you could see the propeller slowly slow down, and then everything just went quiet.
Passenger video shows the propeller not turning, creating tense moments for those on board.
So I kind of started panicking because we were in the clouds, so you couldn't see the sky, and I was like, okay, this isn't good. But there was a lady that was sitting beside me. She started panicking really bad, really shaking. So I maintain my composure, try to hold what I'm feeling in, and be strong for that lady.
The engine failure on the Calgary-bound flight carrying 75 passengers happened about 10 minutes after taking off from Kamloops.
And those aircrafts are designed, the 2-engine aircraft are designed to actually with 1 engine and get to stable flight. Rare for us to see, but we were ready.
Passengers indicated seeing flames inside the engine, but airport time the plane landed, the fire was out.
Our crews did, though, ensure that that engine was safe. They got out of their fire trucks. They used heat guns to make sure that there wasn't any heat before that aircraft actually taxied into the terminal building.
Airport officials say many of the passengers were rebooked on other flights following the terrifying incident, to overnight in Kelowna, ready to board a plane. The aircraft remained at the Kelowna airport Friday, awaiting a mechanical inspection. Global News reached out to WestJet for an interview about the incident, but received an email reply confirming the mechanical failure and saying in part, "We sincerely apologize to our guests for this inconvenience the diversion has caused and appreciate their patience and understanding as we work to get them on their way." Passengers just grateful to have touched.
The pilots were amazing. The flight crew were amazing. I can't stress that enough.
Claudia Van Emmer, Global News, Kelowna.
Fire crews were busy in Nanaimo Friday after a semi-truck crashed and flipped. It happened on Nanaimo Parkway near Northfield Road. Video showing the truck tipping over with its contents spilled onto the ground. Nanaimo Fire Rescue tells Global News the driver was extricated through the front windshield with undetermined injuries. The crash also led to a spill. Environment Canada has been notified. Booming and padding have been deployed. With the weekend here, backcountry users in BC's interior are once again being urged to exercise extreme caution. The warning from Interior Health comes on the heels of 12 deaths already this season, including 3 German tourists in an avalanche while heli skiing near Invermere.
And we are providing to general public to increase the awareness, both for the residents in the communities and also for the travelers in the area. It is important for everyone to be aware of the risks and take precautions to make sure that they are safe.
There have been more than double the number of avalanche fatalities compared to last season. Interior Health is urging anyone thinking of venturing into the backcountry to check Avalanche Canada first.
The most important thing is to be aware of the dangers and to do to avoid it. So I advise everyone to check the forecasts. Avalanche.ca website is a great resource. It gives all the details on the forecast on the risk of avalanche. And by avoiding the dangerous areas, we can avoid the risk.
Avalanche Canada expects these conditions to last for the remainder of the winter season in many areas and potentially summer season. A Nanaimo woman who says she may only have a few months to live has been ordered out of her home by her landlord. As Kylie Stanton reports, she says she was evicted. Life care was too disruptive.
In a motel room, living out of a suitcase. This is not the way Sharon Kowalchuk imagined the final chapter of her life would play out.
I'm dying. My organs are shutting down slowly.
Up until 65-year-old had been living here with her husband in South Nanaimo, paying $1,050 a month for a room upstairs.
We shared the kitchen and the bathroom.
But 2 weeks ago, the couple says the landlord told them they were being evicted. The reason?
Guys, I have too many ambulances. The neighbors are complaining. And I just shook my head. I couldn't believe it. Are you serious?
So serious. On Wednesday, they say the landlord cut the heat and power to the unit.
My oxygen was shut off. All my groceries were left.
And he did not care.
That bitch was lying. The landlord is Duarte Rapton. When Global News approached him for an interview, he had this to say.
You guys ruined my life.
BC's housing minister has confirmed the government is aware of the situation and is now investigating.
Yesterday is when we first found out about it, and in fact, we had the compliance officer go in, talk to people, assess the situation, and there's an active investigation on it right now.
In the meantime, support is coming in from all angles.
Do you mind if I just fill in for you?
Risebridge, a local charity that works to tackle the housing crisis in the city, is helping the couple to file a dispute through the residential tenancy branch while finding them somewhere else to call home. And the word has gotten out. A GoFundMe set up for the couple has now raised more than $22,000 and counting.
There's a whole community rallying.
There's no denying the experience has made a fragile that much more difficult.
She doesn't deserve it, none of us.
The worst part of all,
scared,
is not knowing how her story will end.
It's scary.
Kylie Stanton, Global News.
A West Kelowna senior is speaking out because she and her neighbors are being evicted. Joyce Collins lives at the Golden Homes Mobile Home Park. She and other tenants were recently told they need to move out by the end of April while their units get renovated. The landlord tells Global News the homes are about 40. Collins says she hasn't had any problems with her unit and she's worried she won't be able to find alternative housing.
Everything has worked well since I've been here. They're wanting us to move out because of plumbing and electrical. And yeah, I have no issues with the plumbing or no issues with the electrical in my unit.
We've got huge cracks in floors that are being pushed up inside. Like if you looked in the A-frame, for instance, it's cracking in foundations. We keep getting reports from our maintenance crew about different items that
Collins and her neighbors are planning on going to arbitration to possibly get an extension or stay in their homes. Perhaps you've heard an ad playing on the radio brought to you by NDP MLAs proclaiming David Eby as a man of action. You might think the party paid for the ad, but as Amanagahi reports, you'd be wrong.
Brought to you by
Have a listen to this radio message currently circulating the airwaves in Metro Vancouver.
In the first 100 days in office, BC's new Premier David Eby is taking lots of it.
Does it sound like a campaign-style ad for the Premier? If your answer to that is yes, then you'd ought to know that your tax dollars paid for it.
Why not pay for these through money raised by the party and instead use taxpayer money to pay for these ads?
Well, I think it's absolutely vital, the British, what their government is doing.
According to the audio and the BC Communications, the ad was paid for by the NDP caucus budget that is allocated for the work of BC NDP MLAs. That budget is publicly funded and it rightfully can be used to pay for government to communicate with the public about what it is doing. But has the NDP made their message too campaigny?
David Eby, 100 days of putting people first.
It's a valid question to ask, and it's certainly a question that when they were in opposition, BC NDP wasted no time in asking whenever the BC Liberals were doing it.
The NDP, when in opposition, was infamously critical of the Liberals for using public money to advertise themselves.
The NDP will bring in a law that says that every ad that a government does on whatever subject it is needs to be reviewed by the Auditor General and ensure that it isn't a partisan ad.
In 2013, the NDP and Adrian Dix took a hard stance against this jobs ad by the BC Liberals.
Why are they partisan? Because claims BC is leading the country in job creation when we're in 8th place.
Fast forward to now, and the leader of the same party is defending these taxpayer-funded ads, saying they communicate his agenda.
This is important work, and British Columbians need to know that the government is on their side.
Experts say this type of strategy relies on a pretty loose definition of what is overly partisan.
There is a bit of a gray line there.
So next time you hear the ad, take it with a grain of salt.
While it is valid for governments to communicate to British Columbia that they is about what they are doing with taxpayer money, to know that they're also doing so with an eye to continuing in office.
Imad Agahi, Global News.
With forest industry mills shutting down across BC, the employees of a mill that is still running are accusing the BC government of jeopardizing their jobs. Employees of Aspen Planers and Merritt say they're running out of timber. The government is holding up permits to log. They say while the permits usually take 45 days, theirs have been delayed for as long as a year. Locally acquired logs, they say 150 people would be directly affected by the shutdown of the mill.
They just don't want to sign their permits. We've asked to talk to them and they just won't give us a reason why. We know it could do with some of the native, but all they have to do is come forward and talk to us and give us an answer.
Absolutely not. It'd be devastating for our community. We have a lot of, I've been here a long time. We have second, third generation of employees who worked at the mill. It'll just community if something was to happen to our operations here.
In a statement to Global News, the Forest Ministry says it is actively engaged with local First Nations and industry partners to find the best way forward with cutting permits. Finding and retaining staff is a challenge right now for many industries, and it seems policing. The RCMP holding a press conference to let people know they're hiring, boasting things like comprehensive benefits, salary and world-class training. But perhaps the biggest benefit for those living in BC is a new guarantee that you'd be able to police in BC too.
If you live in BC or want to police in BC, you can have a flexible posting plan straight to BC, which means that after you graduate depot, you can be placed anywhere in BC.
The RCMP will be holding information sessions at job fairs and detachments throughout the Vancouver City Council has voted to end their living wage commitment, which advocates say is a step backwards. 6 years ago, Vancouver became the largest city in Canada to pay a living wage. Now the city says they will implement a new initiative called Fair Wage, which will be calculated by the average of 5 years of living wages. Officials say the new living wage would have had an effect on the city's pay structure. Meanwhile, advocates say employees should be in Vancouver.
So there's two things. First of all, it's not about giving a 17% pay increase to everyone. It's just about bringing those people at the bottom up. And the living wage can also be made up of any benefits that you offer as well. So if they offer health and dental, that suddenly, instead of $24 an hour, it's about $22 an hour. So it suddenly becomes a bit more achievable and manageable. And the other thing I'd say when they say that it's not practical for municipalities like Port Coquitlam, Quesnel and Victoria, which has an even higher living wage, have managed to stick with the to pay their staff and their contracted workers a living wage.
A new workplace trend is designed to ease employees into the work week by taking things a little bit slower. The concept of a bare minimum Monday hopes to relieve stress on employees by getting them to focus on their mental health and gradually begin the work week. Experts say the concept is the result of the pandemic. The aim is a better work-life balance.
I think the bare minimum Mondays for the typical employer, I can't see the typical employer being okay with, when you come into work on Monday that you make your breakfast, practice self-care, get your facial, that just not going to fly with the typical employer. But if you were self-employed, I think that could totally work.
Coming up, poisoning in Calgary, plus deplorable conditions and situation. Mexican migrants are rescued after being exploited by an international labor trafficking ring. Stay with us.
This program is brought to you by Kwantlen Polytechnic University, where thought meets action.
Hi, I'm Steve Ranson, President and CEO of Home Equity Bank. I've worked in Canadian financial services industry for over 30 years. The economy go up and down. Well, access can be a challenge. Older Canadian homeowners have a safe and practical solution to consider. With a chip reverse mortgage from Home Equity Bank, you can securely access some of your equity and stay in the home you love.
If you're 55 or older, you could get up to 55% of your home's value in tax-free cash. Take only what you need in a lump sum or over time with no monthly mortgage. Call 1-855-778-2447 for your free, no obligation.
These uncertain financial times, the best retirement is a secure retirement.
For your free guide, call 1-855-778-2447. That's 1-855-778-CHIP. Or visit chip.ca. Call CHIP today and live retirement your way.
More than just beautiful dance. It's a touch of the divine. It's the beautiful culture and wisdom of China before communism. More than just a performance, it's an experience that awakens the soul. Returning to Queen Elizabeth Theatre from March 21st to the 26th. Tickets at shenyun.com.
Quaker Chewy granola bars are made with 100% Canadian whole grain oats and taste great. Plus, they're packed with 100% fun. That's why Quaker Chewy granola bars are 100% lunchbox approved.
Closed captioning of this program is brought to you in part by Save On Foods, where you'll find throwback prices during the all-new Tuesday.
2 people are dead after a suspected case of carbon monoxide poisoning in Calgary. A man aged 45 to 50 and a 25 to 30-year-old woman were found dead. Calgary police say the call came in shortly after 8 p.m. on Friday. When they arrived, they found the 2 victims outside of the house. 2 animals also died. The medical examiner's office has deemed the deaths as accidental. Police in Ontario say at least 7 people faced months-long human trafficking investigation that led to the rescue of more than 60 people.
The victims in this case, 64 of them, were subject to deplorable living and working conditions with no way out. This case has affected everyone profoundly. Our members were shocked at the conditions that the victims were living in.
Officials say a multi-agency investigation led to dozens of Mexican rescued last month following the execution of search warrants at 5 properties in the Greater Toronto area. case of men and women in their 20s to 40s were said to have been found living in squalor and are alleged to have been abused, mistreated, and exploited for manual labor at farms, factories, and warehouses in the region. Just ahead, Nisga celebration. We have a live report. Plus, it's Saturday Sips. Delectable drinks are being served up by Gotham's Barkeep. It's not just all citrus. A little bit of everything. There's even a mocktail. Stay with us.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Midtown RV in Penticton and the iconic line of Airstream trailers. Order your Airstream today.
I have always been... Nothing would stop me until knee pain set in and became unbearable. I didn't know what to do. Someone told me to try Genicol Pain Relief, Canada's #1 selling joint care supplement.
Genicol Pain Relief is a natural health product helping to associated with osteoarthritis. Feel results in 5 days.
Today I can finally get back on track. Try it too and feel the difference. Genicol makes me feel so good.
A performance that truly for each and every one of us. This is what you've been waiting for. Shen Yun, returning to Queen Elizabeth Theatre from March 21st to the 26th.
1 in 3 children are now at risk of going to school on an empty stomach.
My stomach starts to hurt a little bit. It's hard to think and concentrate. I don't have enough energy.
But there's hope. By supporting Toonies for Tummies, 100% of your donation gives hungry children in your community the chance to start their day with a much-needed, nutritious meal.
When I eat breakfast, I have lots of energy. When it's chill, fast.
Donate in store or online today.
Bathfitter is a better way. Precise measuring means the perfect fit. The Bathfitter tub-over-tub process means no mess or stress. A custom-made tub and seamless wall mean a watertight fit. Premium acrylic means it lasts a lifetime. And all this together means a great value. Bathfitter, it just fits. Visit bathfitter.com to book your free consultation.
Here's to joy. Little makes a big difference with Dr. Edgar.
Discover the fine art of relaxation and rejuvenation. The perfect place to watch the world go by. Big waves. There's always something to do. It's from downtown Victoria. Come for a day, a week, or forever. Come and play in Oak Bay, Victoria's seaside destination.
It's the Rebels with a Cause app. We need to fight. The Game Time is Anytime app. Go! The catch up anywhere on all the thrilling twists. Remarkable renos, daring dishes, and can't miss channels app.
Pretty darn clever.
With the new free play, it's also the how is it possible there are thousands of episodes I can watch absolutely free? One app's really got it all. The Global TV app. Download now and stream anytime.
Let's meet our cast of characters. Big Brother Canada, new season, Wednesday on Global.
Welcome back. It's time for Saturday Sips, and we have Landon Bruce from God Bar with us. Nice to see you.
Appreciate it very much.
Now, you have 2 alcoholic drinks, but you also brought a special drink that has no alcohol.
Definitely. We do like our mocktails. We do like to have the option for our guests. This one is Earl Grey tea.
Oh, yummy.
With orgeat almond syrup with lemon juice, soda, and cucumber garnish. Kind of stir that in. We have this presented right here.
This is it. Oh, can I have a sip?
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, what's it called again?
The Bridgerton.
This is the Bridgerton. Bridgerton, all right. Oh, that is very refreshing.
Yeah.
Very
and
nice.
Next up, we're going to have a coconut plata margarita.
Okay.
So refreshing, bright, great for summer.
Okay. I like that you said summer because
we're getting ready.
Winter thing has been a little serious over the last while, so.
Yeah. Snow in the middle.
Exactly.
2 ounces of I have 1 ounce fresh squeezed lime juice, 1 ounce coconut syrup.
So that's what that is. All right. I hadn't seen the picture in the front. Okay. Lovely. Lovely.
Grapefruit tincture.
Oh, that's the secret ingredient?
Yeah. Has a little tang to it.
Like it. Lovely.
There we are. Now the fun part.
Okay. Shake it up. It's like cocktail.
Not quite Tom Cruise.
Did you ever try that? Ever try doing all those moves?
Oh, terrible.
Right.
Boss will get mad at me.
Yeah, don't start breaking the things at work now. And some. And what do you have as a rim?
We have a spicy chili pepper rim.
There we go. Hold on up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it smells lovely.
And just in case, dehydrated lime.
Do you make those?
Yeah, in-house. Got a nice little dehydrator down in the kitchen.
Very nice. Okay, cool. And so, there's really no pairings. These are cocktails. But I guess, what are you seeing people drinking now when they're coming in to Gotham?
The classics, a lot of modern day classics as well, so like the Cosmopolitan.
Oh, really?
Or Mezcal has been on the up and up.
Okay, awesome. So there you go. All right. Yeah. So the next one is the Dreamcatcher.
Yeah, so this is a riff on a French 75.
Okay.
One of my,
Do you have a signature drink that you've created or made?
Oh, not quite yet.
Not yet?
Yeah. We are working on our spring menu, so
okay.
We're going to be having some new changes up there.
Nice.
Right.
Nice. For spring that you think you might want to focus on or look?
I like bright colors.
Okay.
Definitely brings a lot of people's attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to say floral notes, anything that kind of makes people happy when they're sitting on a patio.
Good, yes.
A little lemon juice, house-made fig jam syrup.
Really?
Yeah.
And so you diluted it with? How'd you make it?
Boil it with a little hot water.
Okay.
You can do it with your kitchen. You can do it with different raspberry jam, blueberry jam. Profile.
So you just add a little bit of water and loosen it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, it makes a nice sizzle sound.
Do a little dilution.
Perfect.
And top it up. Gonna have a little bit of our mum, about 3-4 ounces.
Okay.
And then last little bit, some rosemary bitters.
Oh. That'll have a nice flavor. Excellent.
Here we are. And then
do a little strain.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So our mocktail, now we were talking about not just mocktails and how they're coming up in popularity. They're quite the thing lately. But also, what did you call it? Half alcohol or a light alcohol?
Low ABV cocktails.
Okay.
So using some for Tebow, like Campari or Aperol, like an Aperol Spritz would be low alcohol content.
Okay.
So something nice to sip on, something you can enjoy, but you're not too rowdy.
You can draw it out a little bit more, I guess, right?
Definitely.
The afternoon cocktail. Perfect. All right, so when is Gotham open?
Gotham is open 7 days a week. On weekends, we open up at 3 o'clock, starting with our social hour. 11:30, we open up our door all day long till late.
Fantastic. You can go catch one of these wonderful drinks. Thanks so much for stopping by today. It was really nice to meet you and see you.
Thank you.
That's Landon Bruce with Gotham Steakhouse and Bar. Yummy steaks, too. Yeah, if you like that. Excellent. All right, stay with us. We are going to catch up on our weather to see exactly what it's going to set up for the rest of the weekend. Are we going to see any sun? Steph will be here, and she will let us know what our forecast is going to be.
Focus on the politics. Focus on the players. Focus on the province. Focus BC, your inside guide to BC politics with host Richard Zussman on BC One.
I thought the biggest survival would be against other people.
Stop! Medical!
But it's really the element challenge.
Right?
Oh my God, this is hard.
Keep breathing.
I expected to come in and be challenged. It's that, plus a lot more.
They
They say innovative companies start in the garage.
True story.
Hey, Mercedes, show me what you got.
Follow me.
That's what I call aerodynamics.
That's nothing.
It's enough. Hey, Mercedes, watch out. Those lights are pretty smart. What's that, diamonds? Pixels?
Think bigger.
Now that's electric.
Come on. It's magic.
Nice garage, by the way.
Surrey's vibrant food scene is waiting for you. Watch Taste of the Neighborhood Saturdays on Global News Morning and join Global BC's Steph Florian gems and uncovers heartfelt stories from cozy family favorites, hardworking chefs, and local restaurant owners. Brought to you by Taste the World this spring and try tasting rooms and eateries that showcase unique and diverse cuisines and deliver some of Metro Vancouver's most authentic flavors. Learn more at discoversurreybc.com/taste.
We all need fiber for our digestive health, but most Canadians only get about 50%. Good thing Metamucil gummies are an easy way to get plant-based fiber. 3 gummies have the same amount of fiber as 2 cups of broccoli. Metamucil gummies to get your daily fiber.
1 in 3 children is now at risk of going to school on an empty stomach.
When I'm hungry and my stomach starts to hurt a little bit, it's hard to think and concentrate. I don't have enough energy.
But there's hope. By supporting Toonies for Tummies, 100% of your donation gives hungry children in your community the chance to start their day with a much-needed nutritious meal.
I have lots of energy. When it's gym, I could run really fast.
Donate in store or online today.
Trade you my bagel for it.
How about my pirate's treasure?
Mystery or?
I offer Cthulhu, the world eater. I'll stick with the cheese string.
Keep it cheesy. Cheese strings, only from Black Diamond. BC Denturists are denture specialists. From complete and partial dentures to dentures over implants, Denturists fabricate all types of dentures from start to finish and can repair, rebase your dentures. Visit denturist.bc.ca.
Hey, Andy, have you seen what Mom and Dad have been posting online? This new place they're living in looks like a vacation. Whoa, I'm not sure I've seen this side of Mom before. I think I'm going to call them Pursue Life at Opal by Element.
Marcia Gay Harden and Skylar Austin.
We're here to help you.
So Help Me Todd. All new Thursday at 9 Eastern on Global.
Cultural celebration is happening this weekend in Vancouver, the Nisga'a Hobiye. It's taking place at the Peony Forum, and that's where we find our very own Michael Newman taking part. There you are.
Beautiful, beautiful celebrations been going on for 3 days, celebrating the Nisga'a New Year. Hobiye, it's been beautiful. And joining me right now, I have Andrea Burrow, the CEO of the Nisga'a Jamix of Vancouver Society, correct?
Right, that's correct.
There we go.
Hobiye, everybody.
Hobiye.
Thankfully, we're here together to celebrate our hearts and our minds together with all the nations that surround us. We give thanks to the Musqueam for allowing us to be here to host our event.
Yes, and we're grateful for you allowing us to be here and to sharing this tradition, because this is a tradition that's been going on thousands of years in Nisga'a territory. And talk to me about the importance of having an event like this for folks who are away from their home territory to be able to celebrate.
And this is why Hobiye in Jamix was started. There's a lot of people that are unable to make it home at any time of the year. A lot of people have not been home for many years, and this is bringing a little bit of and letting the people see and allowing our brothers and sisters across Turtle Island to see who we are and how we celebrate the Nisga'a New Year, and having Hobiye. Hobiye is the start harvest season, and the crescent moon is big significance to that.
Yes, and after a long winter, it's felt like how, the beauty of thinking about the future harvest and having people come together in this good way. Can you talk to me about what folks, and this is an invitation for folks from all walks of life to come. Can you talk about the importance of sharing these practices in the
Exactly. We do want to share our hearts and our minds with everybody, to share who the Nisga'a people are and who we signify as our ancestors and our children. Yeah. We want to uplift our children so that they're able to walk their life in a good way. Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's a beautiful thing. The energy in here, it feels very strong. Yeah. Seeing we're really, really appreciate you sharing your culture with us, and a Hobie to you, and then Hobie to everyone at home, and celebrating the new year. So thank you so much.
And Hobie to everybody back home. Thank you very much, and we miss you.
Oh, that's lovely. Yes, Hobie to everyone else. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Nice to see you. The beloved Girl Guide cookies are once again available for you to enjoy, all while supporting a good cause. The 2023 batch. There it is. It arrived today with Girl Guides fast at work, selling them across the province. But this year they're going to cost you an extra $1, up to $6 a box. That's due to rising costs. Money raised will go towards empowering girls and providing them with leadership development skills.
With my own Girl Guide group, I'm excited to use the fundraising proceeds to go to our Girl Guide camp on the Sunshine Coast, Camp Olave, this spring. It will be for most of our youth. Weekend-long Girl Guide camp that they've experienced since the COVID pandemic after we finally got back to sleepovers in recent months. So it will be a great way to broaden their horizons and build some confidence.
Anyone interested in purchasing cookies can visit girlguides.ca to find sales near you. And again, they are $6 a box this year. All right, time to take it over to Steph to see how the weather is fixing up for us. You look pretty in pink today.
Oh, thank you. Well, let's have a little birthday celebration first. Two big birthdays. Thelma celebrating her 100th, and V celebrating second from Surrey. Congratulations. Hope you're enjoying your big birthdays, and a huge congrats from Global BC. So back to the weather and the unsettled conditions and the system that's been gaining traction from things quite unsettled, seeing a little bit of everything out there, potential for wet flurries, showers, we're seeing breaks, we're seeing clouds, we're kind of seeing it all, and these winds have picked up. Easterly winds were at 20, now they're at 31, sitting at 4 degrees, supposed to be sitting at 6 degrees, already seeing a few showers back in the mix. Your day. So staying very unsettled with a system that has gained some momentum to the see some very cold air push in, and that is going to affect our wind chill temperatures and values over the next few days. We will take a look at that forecast so you can see what we're expecting as far as wind chill goes, because it is going to get very bitter cold to the north into the next few days. Really going to see those temperatures plummet, especially into the morning hours, even lingering in. The Coquihalla has been closed all day. It's still closed, just so you know, 40% chance of seeing some flurries there later. It's the afternoon into evening snowfall with this system for the sea to sky. Through the overnight, we will see periods of snow and then some flurries there for Rogers Pass today through the overnight as well. If you are doing any traveling, we'll keep you posted on the Coquihalla. BC Peace River, that is the factor right now, is the wind chill and these drop in temperatures. If you look at the normal highs and where we're going to be sitting for the next few days, it's going to be very, very chilly. Same for Whitehorse, starting out today, this afternoon, minus 25. Tomorrow morning, it'll and then by the afternoon, minus 20 with that wind chill factor. North Coast, very gusty. Northeasterlies gusting, especially around those inlets. Some sunshine all the way through Monday, so getting nice and clear there. It's really this cold air and these winds and our below seasonal temperatures as we get into the next few days and roll into our work week. Columbia Kootenay region seeing some breaks and some clouds. Snow levels at 1,000 meters for the Thompson Okanagan today. That'll be snow changing to showers through the afternoon hours, feeling like -6 in through your morning tomorrow as we get started. Whistler, there's that snowfall tonight in through afternoon into your day on Sunday. Monday expecting a few clouds for the island, very gusty today. Into Sunday, we're going to see some breaks in through the afternoon. So same for the lower mainland, clearing tomorrow afternoon, likely going to see some more showers in the morning and through the overnight tonight before we get that break. And we do have a couple days to look forward to that do include some brighter, sunnier days and some breaks, but also the potential of seeing a few more flurries there on Monday, Jen.
Oh, no more flurries. Make it stop. Hey, thank you. Some big changes for travelers heading to Europe were set to take effect. They've been put on hold. Claire Newell now with more on what the planned changes are and when we might see them.
Well, the European Commission is delaying its plans to track entry and exits of visitors to that part of the world. Now, the entry and exit system, or EES as it's being called, is being designed to collect travelers' names, type of travel document, and biometric data like fingerprints and facial imaging, date and location of entry and exit. The automated program visa holders and visa exempt travelers like Canadians. It's supposed to be introduced in May of this year, but the large-scale IT infrastructure needed to support it just will not be ready in time. So a new target date has still not yet been set, but officials are aiming to have that system in place later this year. The EES system will be part of a broader system, the European Travel Information and Authorization System, which will require visitors from countries with visa-free access, such as Canada, to apply through an online portal or app before. Travelers will also need to pay a €7 fee, and that will cover the cost of registering, pre-screening, and monitoring. Now, once they've been granted access, travelers will be covered for 3 years with an unlimited number of entries. However, they are restricted on how long they can stay. Currently, visitors from outside the EU are limited to stay in the Shenzhen area for 3 months out of every 6. It's often referred to as the 9180 rule. Now, the measures was also supposed to be introduced in the spring, but the timeline has also been extended into the fall. We'll keep you posted on. In the meantime, a trip to Europe this spring or summer, the good news is you will not have to do any of that. Now let's get you traveling. Here are some deals that caught my eye. First, this getaway to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, May 10th through until June 21st. The airfare and 7 nights in a 4-star beachfront all-inclusive resort, $919, taxes of $426. Next, Mediterranean cruise, really focusing on Greece. It's a beautiful itinerary, September 23rd. So once the crowds have gone and the weather isn't too, it's a 9-night cruise with a $50 onboard credit, beverage package, Wi-Fi, and prepaid gratuities. It's $14.89, taxes of $180. And a neat package if you haven't visited the major cities of Eastern Canada. You can do this April 6th through until May 19th. There are other dates, but the price is a little bit higher. So if you wanted to go over the summer months, you still could. It's a package that includes airfare and 8 nights in 4-star tickets between all of the cities. So you'll visit Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, $22.99, taxes of $322. If you missed any of that or you want more details or you just want more inspiration, you can go online anytime to travelbestbets.com.
Thanks so much, Claire. The changes needed at the Canucks, what management is saying, plus Formula One underway, the team to beat. Jay is back here with your global sports next.
Lights, camera, action over here, boy. Yeah. Survivor's ready.
16 channels, the hottest shows, live and on demand. Stack TV, there's a stream for everyone.
We have a problem.
FBI International. New episodes return Tuesday, March 14th on Global.
It's the biggest sale of the season. It's Leon's Ultimate Super Sale, and it's this weekend only. Save up to 50% on dining and bedroom furniture. And get special prices on appliances and TVs. Super sale prices on now.
Here's to sharing a little joy.
Up to smoother, brighter skin day 1. Olay Retinol 24 recharges my skin while I sleep. No wonder it was awarded Best Night Cream. Night mode activated. Olay, face anything.
With a powerful spot cleaner from Bissell, you can turn every whoops into a whoa. Stain after stain, year after year. The moment, not the mess.
Performance that truly matters for each and every one of us. This is see it at least once in your lifetime. Shen Yun, returning to Queen Elizabeth Theater from March 21st to the 26th. Tickets at shenyun.com.
HelloFresh. Get more out of your budget without compromising on quality or flavor. Delicious meals with fresh ingredients that save on food waste and trips to the grocery store. Order now at HelloFresh.ca.
Term disability claim is denied. Should you appeal?
Appeals often fail because insurance companies control the process. So long as you appeal, you're playing by their rules.
Never appeal the denial of your disability benefits. Appeals are just a mirage of false hope.
Don't. That's their process. Take it out of their hands and fight for your rights with our help.
Go to disabilityrights.ca. Discover your rights, fight back, and get what you're owed.
You have some Canucks news. They're busy today.
Well, they'll play later down in San Jose, so it's a busy sports Saturday. Rugby Sevens going on as well.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. All right.
It is the Leafs and Canucks this afternoon. Luke Shen playing his second game with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was a quiet trade deadline day, though, yesterday for Patrick Allvin. He only made one move, and it was offloading Curtis Lazar to New Jersey for a fourth-round draft pick. Brock Besser remains a member of the Vancouver Canucks. Vancouver, as we all know, all about retooling. Defenseman Philip Hronek was the big purchase by the Canucks. Needs a little bit more for on the blue line. We'll see what the summer brings for the Canucks in terms of substantial changes. The Canucks will have to shed some salary. Here's what Patrick Allvin had to say yesterday.
We still have some work to do in order to get this team to where we believe they deserve to be. The fan base here, to be a competitive team moving forward and hopefully taking a big step next year.
Besser, right?
You know what, Brock Besser, he struggled this year. I think if you talk to Brock, I think he wanted to be a better player. I think he's capable of being a better player. Give him a lot of credit since Rick Tocchet came in here. I think he's played his best hockey. Great goal last night. I think he's moving his feet. He's competing. He plays with more urgency. I still believe we need to push him. We need more out of him, and he's capable of it. We looked at all the options again, see if there were hockey deals to be made or if there was some clearance on cap space. And we all know, we've seen over the last couple of days what it costs to clear contracts. At this point, I wasn't willing to pay to get out of some of the contracts here. And again, when you're have underperforming players, or you're not that attractive to the other teams. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to make the playoffs this year, which is extremely disappointed to myself, and that's on me. It's on me, and it's on me to make this team better. And as I said, when we've been searching for a right shot defenseman, there might have been other options during the year. There was no one even close to being as good as Hronek is, and with a cost control on him for 2 more years. And the way we want to play, it demands a certain type of player to play that style, and that's where having Quinn Hughes and Philip Hronek here is a 1-2 punch. We're extremely excited about it.
It is Championship Saturday out at the Langley Event Center. Walnut Grove and Riverside will play in the 4A final. Abbotsford Senior and St. Mike's will tip it off. AA, all the action gets going at 1:15. That's the junior girls final. Oak Bay will take on Brookswood. FIS Free Ski World Championship men's half pipe. This is Canadian Brendan McKay. He was sitting second heading into his final run today in Bakaranu, Georgia. Dropped into the half pipe as the last man who had a chance of winning World Championship gold. It's exactly what he did. He landed his first ever 16:20. That's a whole lot of. You're watching the gold medal run by the Calgary native as he wins half-pipe gold today in Bakarani, Georgia. Talk about manning up big time. Last guy into the pipe, and he delivers a run like that. Fellow Canadian Rachel Carker won bronze in the women's half-pipe. So a golden and a bronze day today at the World Championship. Connor Bedard was at it again last night. Forget about scoring 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals. How about another 4-goal game? It's the second time he's done it this season. 5 points last night against the Winnipeg Ice. 7th time he's done that this year. The Ice were leading 3-0, and then Bedard just took this game over. He's played 46 games, 58 goals, 119 points. Pats win 5-3. Whoever wins the draft lottery is going to have Connor Bedard, and that's like winning the Lotto Max right now for a hockey team. Vancouver Victoria Royals last night. Sam Honzak back after suffering that skate laceration at the World Juniors. He had 2 goals. See him probably selected in the first round of the draft. Giants won last night by a score of 4-2.
Remy Poirier, Yaroslav Askarov. We're going to get a goalie fight in Cedar Park tonight. Here they go, Poirier and Askarov. Poirier with a couple of rights, and he takes him down. Drafted 174 picks after the first rounder. Poirier takes him to the ice as he has won the bout tonight.
Yeah, that happened in the American Hockey League last night. We don't see the goalies putting up the dukes that often in hockey anytime, let alone the Texas Stars goalie Remy Poirier dummied up on Yaroslav Askarov from the Milwaukee Admirals. Both got 5 for fighting, both got tossed from the game, and nobody left the rink. Everyone was standing applauding that fight last night. Massive upset at the opening day of the Canada Sevens at BC Place. Our men took down Austria. They won 29-12. Got a couple of tries from Matthew Persillier. They're back on the turf at BC Place today. They're going to take on Chile at 2:35. Hey, who knows? Maybe they make a magical run. Our women had a tough go of it, though, on day 1. Got beaten up by Ireland 28-7. And then they lost a close one to the Americans as Cheetah Emba goes in. Late in this match, they won at 17-12. Our women were back on the They beat Brazil 31-7, so they'll be back on the pitch in the take on New Zealand at 4:35. Last but not least, the Formula One season got going this weekend. They're in Bahrain. They're qualifying under the lights. And who else do you think is going to win the pole but this guy, Max Verstappen? 21st pole of his career. He's the 2-time defending series champion. Red Bull cars will start on the front row as Sergio Perez qualified second. Ferrari occupying the second row. Lance Stroll from Canada. Good qualifying session for him. He qualified 8th as Aston Martin teammate Fernando Alonso was 5th. But good stuff for Lance Stroll, because he broke his toe in a accident a couple of weeks ago, so he's back in the car. So we'll see if anybody can slow down Max Verstappen and Red Bull tomorrow. Canucks at 4 o'clock taking on the Leafs. Whitecaps are on the road in San Jose. Let's see if the home teams can win tonight in both the NHL and Major League Soccer.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so.
That'd be nice. I want to hear that tomorrow when you're reporting on it.
Okay, but what happens if do I get to take the morning off if neither of them win?
No, you'll find someone else that wants. Get on it. Thanks, Jay. Stay with us. Still ahead, using their noodles. The competition set on a tasty recipe with a pinch of ingenuity. News at noon.
It's the biggest sale of the season. It's Leon's Ultimate Super Sale, and it's this weekend only. Save up to 50% on dining and bedroom furniture. Save up to 50% on mat. Special prices on appliances and TVs. Super sale prices on now.
Life creates wrinkles. So what? Nivea Q10 Anti-Wrinkle Power. Q10 coenzyme and creatine hydrate to improve elasticity for visibly firmer. Nivea's Q10 Anti-Wrinkle range. For every expression of you. Nivea.
If you have questions about where Canada's oil sands industry stands on climate change, you're not alone. It's time to clear the air. Oil sands contribute significant carbon emissions in Canada. So the 6 have joined forces on carbon capture technology that will reduce emissions by millions of tons annually. It's a key step in helping Canada meet its net zero climate goal. Come see what we're doing at pathwaysalliance.ca.
Clean it is such a hassle. Ugh. Switch to Swiffer WetJet. It's hassle-free. WetJet is one simple tool that absorbs dirt and grime deep inside. And it helps prevent streaks and haze. WetJet with a money-back guarantee. Frosty Sleeper, Toasty Snoozer, or a mix of everything in between, we have your match. Mix and Match is back. And now for a limited time, buy one of our best-selling pillows and get the second free. Sleep well, stay well. Sleep Country.
1 in 3 children is now at risk of going to school on an empty stomach.
When I'm hungry, my stomach starts to hurt a little bit. It's hard to think and concentrate. I don't have enough energy.
But there's hope. By supporting Toonies for Tummies, 100% of your donation in your community the chance to start their day with a much-needed nutritious meal.
When I eat breakfast, I have lots of energy. When it's gym, I could run really fast.
Donate in store or online today.
$1 coffee. McDonald's. Brewed for a rich, smooth, and delicious taste. Cozy up with your medium McCafe premium roast hot or iced coffee for $1 plus tax. Only for a limited time.
Here's Travel Best Bets with Claire Newell.
Visit the Amalfi and Dalmatian coast on this 9-night deluxe all-inclusive $1 onboard credit and prepaid gratuities September 28th, $21.99 plus tax. Details at travelbestbets.com.
Closed captioning of this program is brought to you in part by Level Up Your Wi-Fi with next generation Wi-Fi 6 technology.
I probably shouldn't be getting hungry with this story, but there's spaghetti.
I saw the headline, and I'm all about it with you too.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's really cute, too. On the menu at Okanagan College on Friday, but not what you might think. The class there, they brought their hot glue guns, utensils, well, and the pasta out to make bridges. Here's Jasmine King.
Students of all ages were challenged Friday to create the best bridge of spaghetti.
To be able to have so many young, brilliant minds in one spot, knowing that our future is in their hands, it's incredibly inspiring.
The third contest encourages students ranging from elementary to post-secondary to use STEM skills, which may hopefully motivate them to pursue a career in that field.
This is an experience to be able to highlight just how important the sciences and the engineering to things like the infrastructure that we often take for granted.
In order to withstand the competition, students are using a variety of strategies, and they walked us through their building plan and explained to us that teamwork is one of the most important skills.
We're building the sides X's, so we have 4 little triangles.
We're trying to make as many small supports as possible so that it's able to hold up the amount of weight that we need to.
It's fun because there's a lot of teamwork and everything. It's a good way to get to know people. Because if you're not all working well together, you lose a lot of time. We built, and now we're building the supports and we're doubling up our spaghetti.
However, some of the kids didn't have a set plan in place before they got to the college.
Mostly just kind of go with the flow. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we tried.
We didn't know what we were going to do today. So we just looked at some videos.
After the building was complete, students had their bridges tested.
We got a couple that are going pretty good.
The goal was to see if the bridges would crack under pressure.
We actually start to test their structures. So we'll start putting progressively on the bridge to find out how much they can actually hold.
This was the first competition since March 2020. Jasmine Kelowna.
Oh, you just watched it. It's don't fall.
A little bit safer than the Meccano. That'll take us back a few years. You're with me on that one.
I know the Meccano. I still couldn't figure that out. Never mind pasta. I just know how to cook pasta. I don't think I could build something from it.
Although I don't know when I have no glue in the pasta.
Oh, yeah, that's true. All the toys, all the old toys. Hey, that relay is coming back.
Global Gastown Relay, the bike race is back. Of course, the pandemic wreaking havoc with a lot of sports events, but it's the 50th anniversary. It's one of the biggest events that we pretty much see in Canada.
Amazing.
And Gastown.
With it every
year. So that comes back in the summertime. So the Canucks play tonight at 4 o'clock and the Whitecaps are on the road. Busy sports Saturday. And good luck to all the girls at the high school basketball championship.
Awesome.
Champions will be crowned.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. All right, everybody, thanks so much for spending your afternoon with us. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Until then, Saturday.
Views expressed are not views or policies of Global TV or Chorus Entertainment.
Away and have a different experience, it always imprints on them and gives them memories that they remember for years.
Kabi Maliteran, Global.
Thank you for watching Global News. We'll be right back with your top stories after this short break.
Global News.
Hello, and thank you for watching Global News on this Saturday, March 4th. I'm Jaden Lee Lincoln. Here for following. White House officials say U.S. President Joe Biden has had cancerous tissue removed last month. We have the details on the condition. Plus, Chinese interference. Calls for action are heating up as concerns grow over alleged Chinese interference in Canada's electoral process. What the Prime Minister is saying in response. And winter blast, from thunder snow to avalanche warnings out west. Everything you need to know before heading out this weekend. We're learning more about the 3 people killed in an avalanche in Panorama earlier this week and the heartbreaking reality for one family. 2 57-year-old men and a 34-year-old man, all from Germany, were killed in the slide. And as Jamie Dahl was reportedly supposed to be a celebration.
Choppers sit idle at RK Heliski, the weight of this tragedy not lifting anytime soon. And it's being felt right across the Atlantic, hitting so many hearts here in a small village called Eging MC in Bavaria, Germany.
That's a big impact. I mean, the village has around 1,000 inhabitants, so every
4 men from that region were caught in the avalanche outside of Panorama, but only a 25-year-old will be returning home.
He lost his father, his brother-in-law, and the friend of the group.
The German newspaper reporting the heli trip to Canada was a gift to the 25-year-old for completing his degree. It's an appealing adventure for many international tourists. This man and his friends were booked into after the slide.
I just can't put it in words. I'm a little bit lucky, but I'm very, very people.
It was a great wish of us to do this in this life, to go for heli skiing, but on the other hand, it seems to be dangerous.
The warnings from forecasters have been abundant with difficult snowpack this year. Assessing the conditions is a daily ritual for guides and heli skiing companies, but it's not fail-proof.
You can be making good decisions and you can be making terrible decisions and get good outcomes, and you can be making good decisions and have bad outcomes. And those things are all possible to have in the mountains.
Patrollers from Panorama Ski Resort went out of bounds to assist in the rescue on Wednesday. The resort releasing a statement showing its support for RK Heliski and also offering its condolences, as so many have done, to those impacted both here and abroad, now left to navigate their grief. Jamie Dahl, Global News, Panorama.
On hitting the in BC's interior this weekend, you're being urged to exercise extreme caution, this time by the Regional Health Authority. The warning comes on the heels of 12 avalanche-related deaths already this season, including the 3 you just heard about.
And we are providing this message to general public to increase the awareness, both for the residents in the communities and also for the travelers in the area. It is important for everyone to be aware of the risk and to be.
There have been more than double the number of avalanche fatalities in the region compared to last season. BC's medical health officer is urging anyone thinking of venturing into the backcountry to check Avalanche Canada first.
Most important thing is to be aware of the dangers and know what to do to avoid it. So I again advise everyone to check the forecasts. Avalanche it is a great resource. It gives us on the forecast on the risk of avalanche, and by avoiding the dangerous areas, we can avoid the risk.
Avalanche Canada expects these conditions to last for the remainder of the winter season in many areas and potentially into the summer season. Nova Scotians spent their Friday morning digging out after a blast of winter weather swept the region. Easter dropped up to 30 centimeters of snow on parts of the province, including the Halifax area. Sky Bryden Blom has more. Nova Scotians have dusted off their snowblowers and picked up their shovels to fend off an early March winter wallop. The snow began to fall Thursday evening, making for a tricky commute. Haligonians woke up on Friday to public school closures, delayed openings of libraries, and buses pulled off roads until late morning. For some, the blast of winter was no big deal.
Love it. Love it. I'm a big snow fan. Also, I do appreciate it a little bit. It's been a long time coming.
Neighbors were also quick to lend a helping hand.
Well, I figured just come out here, do a bit of clearing, help my neighbors out, same time clear their driveways.
Elizabeth McDonald says although her snow shoveling skills are rusty, she's thrilled to see the winter landscape.
This is my favorite point in a snowstorm. The night of snow, which I enjoyed watching too, to come out in a beautiful sunny morning with nice light. Just take my time and enjoy it.
Kids were excited to have a long weekend.
It's actually really good to have a snow day right here. Enjoyable, and we can go sledding, snowboarding, and sometimes skiing.
Others say they're done with winter.
Absolutely, way too much. I'm moving south.
The city says the cleanup went well, with crews salting roads and sidewalks before.
Crews have been working to remove snow from streets, sidewalks, and bike lanes.
Those efforts are set to continue into Saturday. Sky Bride and Blom, Global News, Halifax.
Good morning. I hope you're doing well. We had quite a storm across southern Ontario through the overnight periods. More details on what to expect today, but I just want to start off with western sections. We've had a big upper level low across the southwestern corner of the province, and that's going coast throughout the day with scattered showers. It is also going to bring in a few flurries for areas like the Coquihalla, and you can see the impact just on the eastern slope of the Rocky Mountains in through Alberta. Meanwhile, the rest of the prairies not expecting too much throughout the day today. Meanwhile, this is the low pressure center across southern Ontario, touching into southern Quebec as well. As we track throughout the day, it will shift towards the east, just touching into the Nova Scotia. Going to slump down and away. Those of you in southern Quebec, though, will continue to it throughout the day today, whereas areas like Toronto will see things ease throughout the day today. So these are the areas that are still under warnings. There's a winter storm warning for parts of Toronto. The potential for, if you haven't seen it already, 30 centimeters of snow before it shifts out of the region throughout the afternoon hours. Here's a look at the forecast. So plenty of sunshine through the Prairie Province. In Calgary, west of Edmonton as well. Showers for Vancouver. Meanwhile, in through Toronto, sunshine by the afternoon, whereas Ottawa, Montreal continue to see snowfall throughout the day. Halifax will see increasing cloud, but the majority of the snowfall is south of that region. St. John's, a nice sunny day expected with a high of -6. That's a look at your national forecast. I hope you have a fantastic Saturday.
If you're heading to Toronto's Pearson Airport this weekend, be prepared for potential delays. On Friday, WestJet announced that they canceled flights in and out of the airport from 8 p.m. onward. The company added that they will reevaluate Saturday's schedule pending conditions. Air Canada and Pearson officials are asking travelers to pack their patience today as flight delays are expected. The airport says they're equipped to handle the latest winter blast, but the cleanup will require extra time due to the schedule. A WestJet plane that experienced and was forced to make an emergency landing in Kelowna on Thursday remains at the airport awaiting a mechanical inspection. While no one was hurt, passengers were understandably shaken up with what unfolded. Claudia Van Emmerich has the latest.
Kamloops resident Javon Wallen joins other passengers on WestJet Encore Flight 3250, applauding the pilots after safely landing the aircraft at Kelowna International the afternoon. The arrival met with a huge emergency response after one of the plane's 2 engines failed.
And we heard a couple of big bangs. I looked at the engine, and then you could see the propeller slowly slow down, and then everything just went quiet.
Passenger video shows the propeller not turning, creating tense moments for those on board.
Panic because we were in the clouds, so you couldn't see the ground or the sky, and I was like, okay. But there was a lady that was sitting beside me. She started panicking really bad, really shaking. So I tried my best to maintain my composure, try to hold what I'm feeling in, and be strong for that lady.
The engine failure on the Calgary-bound flight carrying 75 passengers happened about 10 minutes after taking off from Kamloops.
And those aircrafts are designed, the two-engine aircraft are designed to actually be able to operate with one engine. Flight, but we were ready.
Passengers indicated seeing flames inside the engine, but airport officials say by the time the plane landed, the fire was out.
Our crews did, though, ensure that that engine was safe. They got out of their fire trucks. They used heat guns to make sure that there wasn't any heat before that aircraft actually taxied into the terminal building.
Airport officials say many of the passengers their flights following the terrifying incident. Some, however, choosing to overnight in Kelowna, not quite ready to. The aircraft remained at the Kelowna airport Friday, awaiting a mechanical inspection. Global News reached out to WestJet for an interview about the incident, but received an email reply confirming the mechanical failure and saying in part, "We sincerely apologize to our guests for this inconvenience the diversion has caused and appreciate their patience and understanding as we work to get them on their way as soon as possible." Grateful to have touched down safely.
Amazing. The flight crew were amazing. I can't stress that enough.
Claudia Van Ammer, Global News, Kelowna.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with more news after this short break.
Look further with the botanist Isla Dry Gin.
A bump in popularity following Pierre Poilievre's win, the federal Conservative Party is now neck and neck with Justin Trudeau's Liberals. That, according to exclusive Ipsos polling. The results also say if the federal election the Conservative Party would get 33% of the vote, and so would the Liberals. To talk about this shift in Canada's political landscape, Will Stewart, the National Lead of Public Affairs with HK Strategies, joins us. Hi, Will.
Hi, how are you today?
Doing well, thank you. A big change from where we were in 2020. Canada saw a Liberal majority government. What's changed?
Yeah, I think a lot has changed, honestly. Trudeau obviously still the prime minister. The Conservatives have gone through a series of leaders to try to figure out a solution to what ails them at the polls. But I think what we're seeing now is almost, a divided electorate for sure, which we've seen in the past. But in many ways, it's a divided country, almost down the middle through Ontario on a geographic basis. So what we really have is two competing views for where the country should views on where the policies are needed to address the challenges that Canadians feel that they have. And right now, there's just no general consensus that one party or the other has a particular advantage and votes and procedures at this point for Canadians.
Right, and the poll suggests if Canadians were to go back to the polls today, it would be an extremely close race between the Liberals and Conservatives. But what would it take for the Conservatives to win this next?
Yeah, well, I think what the Conservatives' challenge is, of course, is to show that they have a competing narrative for the country. I mean, I think in many ways, Pierre Poilievre is focused on showing that he would do things differently, issues that ail Canadians, but yet he's still not able to really break through against a prime minister that, frankly, has been elected a number of times now, and we know through Canadian history. Being elected again as Prime Minister for Justin Trudeau is a rarity at the polls. So really what we're really confused to see why the Conservatives haven't been able to galvanize support seemingly on the polls. But of course, there's only one poll that matters, and that will be on that unknown election.
Well, the poll comes the same week as controversy continues over allegations of Chinese interference in Canada's electoral process. Many criticizing the Trudeau government yet again over its handling of this incident. At this point, is there anything Liberals can do, Will, to earn popularity back?
Yeah, I think the within themselves this week. I think generally speaking, there's a lot of concern from a lot of Canadians on what did or didn't happen. And I think that's the key. Prime Minister Trudeau can people that everything is fine, that there's no reason to call an inquiry. But, looking at public sentiment, looking at the way in which people are commenting on this story through Ottawa and across the country, we know that there's a high measure of concern here. And this is the type of thing government that can really grab hold and drag you down. If you lose that trust at this point, if voters start to believe that they might be hiding something or there might be another way for a 3-term government, that can actually be a death knell. So really going to be a challenge from a communications point of view for Justin Trudeau, the Liberal Party, and his government as well.
I want to throw one last question at you. Obviously, Canadians want to be able to trust their government, but what are some other things Canadians are focused on? What do these leaders prioritize? What are the wants and needs of Canadians right now that need to be addressed?
Yeah, it really does seem like the issue set has changed radically over the last 6, maybe one that was really focused on changing
The government says it's standing by to assist the Athabasca Chippewayan First Nation and other communities in the area in any way necessary. The federal environment minister released a statement on Friday saying we need to see a remediation plan from the company and to better understand the apparent failures of communication for the notification of this spill. Alberta's energy regulator is now investigating. A Calgary man is facing charges stemming from a shocking disruption at an LGBTQ event at a city library. A similar event planned at another library is now postponed. This follows a trend over the last couple of months. Protests against the queer community have become a regular occurrence. Gabby Rios reports.
A library is intended to be an inclusive, safe space for learning, but on February 25th, protesters against the Reading with Royalty event disrupted the story time with local drag queens, entering the seat-in library and transphobic slurs at children and parents in attendance. Drag King Neptune says the altercation was scary.
You're literally reading a story about acceptance and kindness and seeing